My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Welcome back, folks. Have you ever had a deal come across your desk and you're kind of wondering, what should I do with this? Should I keep it? Should I wholesale it? Should I flip it? What should I do? Well, today's special guest, Adam Colburn, is an expert on this because he's got all sorts of different creative ways that he and his partners deal with properties, anywhere from wholesaling to flipping to doing sober living, long-term buy and holds. That's what we're talking about here today. Adam, welcome to the show.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. So tell me a little bit about what your portfolio and your real estate investing business looks like right now. Like, give us a snapshot. What are you guys doing?
Yeah. So we wholesale 2 to 4 deals a month here in North Carolina. Like, that's our main market, but we kind of work up and down the East Coast, dispoing deals for some other friends of mine or just other investors that need help finding buyers. And so we wholesale. We also fix and flip like 2 to 3 houses specifically in North Carolina, in the Raleigh, Durham areas. Not per month, just kind of at a time.
Doing them in batches,
right? Yeah, trying to just keep it efficient, right? Move one crew from one house to the next and just keep them rolling, keep that machine moving. Those flips are primarily in like Raleigh, Durham areas of North Carolina. That's just in my backyard. And so we've had success there. So we want to stay kind of in those markets. As far as rental properties, I've got a handful here in North Carolina, just a regular long-term rental in Crestview, Florida. It's a triplex. And then we have our sober living house in Tennessee, with a few more sober houses under contract right now in the greater Tennessee area.
All right. Very cool. So a couple of things I want to unwrap here. It sounds like you've got the whole marketing machine going pretty well for lead generation when it comes to motivated sellers. What do you find is working best for you guys for finding these kind of deals, either for wholesales or flips or buy and holds?
Sure. Yeah. So we do kind of a variety of different marketing channels. Kind of our bread and butter always have the highest ROIs, still direct mail, funny enough.
Really? Nice.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of the avatars of these sellers we're going after, like the traditional tire landlords or high equity kind of sellers, the older demographic. They're still reading their mail. And so we're sending them postcards and letters and stuff like that. So that's about a 4x ROI for us on mail. So we're still doing that. We still cold call. We text a little bit ever since like the carriers are kind of shutting that down. We don't focus on that too much, but cold calling.
You always have to be ready to pivot and bob and weave a little bit, right?
There's always changes in the market. And so cold calling has been good for us. We've used VAs in the past. I used a lot of appointment setters, like newer wholesalers that want to get into the market, and they'll do the initial call and I'll kind of come in and close. Bring them along for the ride. We use real estate agents and a lot of referral partners, specifically in the senior living space. That's a really good marketing channel for us as well. And so we kind of do a little bit of everything. We've tried the PPC and the PPL model, like buying leads online, and that's been okay. But we kind of always keep coming back to direct mail and cold calling.
Interesting. So direct mail, well, maybe I could be wrong. It seems like a lot of guys are trying that, or maybe not. Maybe you don't have that much direct competition with the direct mail. What do you find, or what do you guys do that kind of helps you to stick out and pop out?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, any marketing channel really comes down to consistency. And so from what we've noticed is that it typically takes 5 to 7 touches to get one of these sellers to respond to us. And from a lot of folks that I've talked to in the mail game, is a lot of people stop at like letter number 2 or 3.
Or one or
even one, right? They run one campaign and nothing comes back, and they're like, oh, this doesn't work, because it can get expensive, right? You got to kind of plan for that. And so we typically are just the people that they keep seeing, right? And it's just kind of build some credibility and brand awareness, just because they're consistently getting a mail piece from us every single month. We typically put them on a 7-month drip. So they're going to get a letter every single month, like clockwork, from us. and they're gonna call for one of three reasons, right? Stop mailing me.
Yeah.
I've already sold the house, or let's do a deal. Which all
Right.
three are great answers for me because if they don't want to sell, that's fine. I'll just mail to your neighbor, but I don't need to waste the extra dollar that I'm sending to them, and so we can just update it that way. But it's been really good for us, and I think the consistency is the biggest like key factor to getting deals in mail.
Yeah, man. Very, very cool. So just to give people an idea of what's involved with that, what does a typical mail run look like for you guys as far as volume? Like how many pieces are you sending out a month?
Sure. Yeah, we send around 3 to 4 thousand mail pieces a month, so still not a huge campaign. But we're typically closing 1 to 3 deals per month off of those campaigns, and obviously it's like a steady drip, right? We're pulling
Yeah.
new lists and rolling them through the campaigns, and so I might hit somebody on month 4, then and I'll close the deal now, but I'm still actively mailing new folks every single month as well to just kind of keep that marketing machine rolling.
Yeah.
And that's been pretty consistent for us. The first couple months obviously was a little bit of a lull until the calls started coming in. But I think it's really easily scalable mail because if I want more deals, I just kind of crank up the mail, right? Turn the faucet on and send more.
Yeah.
Instead of 4,000, I send 8,000. And so from the KPIs, we should be closing
Twice as many
six
deals.
to eight. Yeah, exactly. And so we just kind of we have a really lean team. It's just me and one direct business partner, and I have a couple other folks that'll come in and help with either dispo or acquisitions and stuff like that from time to time, but no like in-house staff for that. So
Right.
I'm generally the guy still on the phone closing the deals because I just love the game. I love talking to sellers, solving problems. And so that's worked really well for us. Is about 3 to 4 thousand a month on average.
So if you let's say you're doing just for even numbers, let's say you're doing 4,000 a month, would you say like 1,000 of those are new fresh leads and 3,000 would be kind of in
Yeah, give or
somewhere in
take.
that 7 month
Right.
sequence?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Because some are going to fall off the
Yeah.
campaign, right? And then others will call in and ask us to stop, or they've already sold a house, right? And so we don't need to waste that extra mail. And so we'll pull those off of the campaign and then replace them with new leads. And so it's probably right there, like kind of 1,000 new leads, 3,000 that are recurring until we just kind of get
Until
through
you
the
get
drip.
until you run through all those guys.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's kind of a never ending type thing. Now, you're working in multiple markets. Are you mailing in multiple markets, or do you kind of have, you don't have to tell us which one, but are you kind of
Sure.
focusing on one
Yeah, no,
area?
we mail it for us right now. We're just focusing in North Carolina, and so the stuff that comes out of the state is typically I'm just helping dispo for other folks because I've
Yeah.
got a large buyers network. They bring me the deal, and I might have some connections that are looking for that specific type of property that
Mhm.
this newer wholesaler just doesn't have the relationships with, and so I can kind of insert myself into those deals. Or if it's a creative deal, then I'm a buyer for it for the sober model. And we're kind of open to any market as long as it kind of fits a couple key check marks for sober, like where if an operator's close and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, let's talk a little bit about the whole sober living thing because that's fascinating as well. Sorry, like I say,
No,
we,
no
we go
problem.
off on tangents, love talking about marketing
Totally,
stuff. It's
totally.
it's cool. All right, tell us a little bit about sober living. So what does that mean exactly? What do these properties look like? Who are
Sure.
the tenants? Why do you prefer this strategy versus other kinds of longer term buy and hold strategies? Give us a
Yeah,
an overview
absolutely.
there.
Yeah, so typically the houses are still just kind of run of the mill residential homes. They are on the larger side because this is more of a co-living model. And so the demographic of folks that we're going after are people that are coming out of recovery, like a rehab center for drug or alcohol addiction, that need a safe and affordable place to live.
Right.
And so there's a lot of nonprofits and either just solo operator like mom and pop shops that are running these homes. And it's a huge problem nationwide, right? The addiction problem is not going anywhere anytime soon nationwide. And so if we can partner with these organizations, provide clean, safe, affordable housing for these individuals to get their feet back underneath them and have a second chance back in the workplace, all while cash flowing very well, then it's kind of a win-win. And so
Definitely.
like just for an example, our house in Tennessee, it's a 5 bed, 3 bath. It's about 2,500 square feet. So it's a little on the larger side. But that house traditionally, if I was to just rent it for a long-term tenant, I'd get about $1,700 a month. I'm locked in for 2 years with a nonprofit organization on a commercial lease at $3,100 a month. And
Nice.
so I'm almost doubling my cash flow while also housing 8 gentlemen that are coming through recovery and trying to get their life back together.
Well,
And
actually,
so,
I'm gonna guess
yeah,
that you're probably 10xing your cash flow. You're almost doubling
yeah,
your revenue, right? But the
absolutely.
actual bottom line profit is huge, right? So that's
Definitely. Yeah. The other benefit too, because it is kind of a commercial lease, right? I don't have the standard like landlord tenant laws and stuff like that. The
yeah,
organization has to take care of that. So if somebody gets squirrely in the house, they kick them out. They've got a running list of folks that are looking for housing that'll come right back in. They cover all utilities. There's no management fee because they're a nonprofit. And so it's more like a triple net lease than a traditional just landlord tenant
yeah. They have to fix
relationship.
anything up that breaks down, kind of thing.
Right.
And
Yeah, up to a certain dollar amount. And if it's like a
yeah,
major system like roof leaks or something, that's still on me as the owner. But
right.
it takes a lot of the headache out of like a traditional long-term
Most
rental
definitely.
tenant.
Oh
Yeah.
no, that's very, very cool. So how did you come across that whole sober living thing, and where do you see that going in your business?
Yeah. So it kind of just fell into my lap, honestly. This particular lead was from a dispo manager that works for a bank. So this was an REO property.
Mhm.
It was bank owned. And he reached out to me. We had done a couple deals in the past that we ended up fix and flipping here in North Carolina. And he's like, "Hey, I have this house in Tennessee. I don't know if you work this market, but you want to take a look at it." And so originally I wanted to turn it into an Airbnb. It was only 5 minutes away from the University of Tennessee, big football school. Would be a perfect like bachelor party spot. Had an
Yeah,
unfinished basement. We were going to put like a bowling alley in it and like make it super cool, right? And all of
nice.
the houses in the area are super small. All the comps, the Airbnb comps. And so that was my initial thought process of like, this seems like a home run exit strategy. Um, and so I reached out to a buddy in the area to kind of be boots on the ground for me and get some photos. And I was telling him what I was planning. And he's like, I would pump the brakes on that because there's a lot of regulation that's happening in our market with short-term rentals.
Right.
And so I did some research, and sure enough, it basically was virtually impossible for me as an out-of-state investor to run an Airbnb in this town. And so I'm just kind of going down the list of exit strategies. Like, could we flip it? Yes, we could, but running a renovation uh, outside state lines and building the contractor base and stuff just sounded like a huge headache.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a ton of great comps to support. We kind of have the biggest and baddest house in the neighborhood. And so really figuring out that ARV was difficult. And the traditional rental rates were just too low. And so I was just at a local meetup here and knew a guy that was in sober and was just kind of asking him his experience. And he's like, yeah, it's great. I mean, I get paid every single month and there's no issues. They're like my best tenant. And I was like, okay. And so I just Googled sober living Tennessee and found a nonprofit. It's the Oxford House. So they're based in all 50 states and connected with one of their local representatives and kind of told them what I was looking to do. And they were like over the moon excited because they
Wow.
really needed housing, like desperately needed. And so 30 minutes after our initial conversation, they went out and looked at the property and called me back and was like, "Hey, how soon can we move in?" And I was like, "Whoa, hold on. I got to rent." Like it wasn't horrible shape, but it had
Yeah.
been vacant for 2 years because it was an REO property. And so
Wow.
we still needed to come in and update it. We ended up adding an extra bedroom to house these extra folks. And so the process, it was still ended up being a renovation, but I was able to partner with a local GC and get that taken care of. But the cash flow was great. And it's such a unique niche because it's such a needed um, solution for this problem, right? Nationwide. And so that kind of just expanded my mind of where we would want to invest. Like, obviously, I have some local houses here in North Carolina. We got some in Florida. I grew up there, and that's just that deal kind of fell into my lap as well. But the long term rentals, in my opinion, just the juice isn't worth the squeeze on a lot of them.
Yeah.
Like $300 or $400 a month. Like if the AC goes out, there goes your cash flow for the next 2 years. And so
Exactly.
being able to increase our overall revenue while also providing value and making an impact in the local community sounded like the perfect solution for an exit strategy. And so that's what we were mainly focusing on moving
Very
forward for
cool.
this one.
So there's lots of positives to it. What are some of the not so great sides of sober living that you've come
Yeah,
across?
from what I've run into so far, it really is market dependent, but there can be a lot of restrictions as far as group homes in general. Every municipality has very specific rules on how far a group home can be away from another one. They do need to be close to public transportation because a lot of these guys don't have vehicles to get to
Right.
work and stuff like that. And obviously the neighborhoods need to be a certain caliber so that these guys can get back up on their feet, right? Like if this is a recovering drug addict and his drug dealer is 3 doors down, it's probably not going to work out. And so we try to stay out of the lower level neighborhoods, the D level properties, right? And so it can take a little bit of finagling to find a property that kind of fits that balance of affordability, also close to general transportation, and then having an operator in that area. Because for me, I just want to be the investor, right? I just want to own the home. I don't want to operate it. And so finding somebody that is willing to take on those clients and run the house is super important for me. And so that has been a headache where we've gotten deals that look like it hits all the boxes, looks amazing. And then in escrow, we find out that they can't have a house there for whatever reason, right? And every operator has their own little underlying criteria that they might not tell you right off the initial conversation. And so that's just kind of, it's just like real estate in general, right? It's a numbers game. And so finding the properties that kind of fit those models, we're focusing on keeping those, but if they don't work out for whatever reason, we have a litany of other exit strategies that we can use to get the deal done.
Got it. No, that's the advantage of being creative. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff, Adam. Hey, yeah. So what are the plans for the next 12 to 24 months? Keep focusing on this stuff and do more of the sober living homes?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's our big push right now. My goal, kind of my 3-year plan is to have 50 of these homes running. And so we can basically service about 350 people coming out of recovery, all while cash flowing about $50,000 a month net. And so we're able to make that impact in the community while also doing really well for ourselves to just in turn go and buy more homes and create more impact or move into another vertical. And so that's our big focus moving forward.
Sounds like a great focus. Awesome, my friend. If people want to connect with you and find out more, where should they go?
Yeah, absolutely. You could follow me on Instagram. It's just at the Adam Colburn. I'd love to meet you. Send me a DM if you got any specific questions. You can find all my other information on my podcast. It's on YouTube. I post content of us walking properties and kind of deal breakdowns, stuff like that. But would love to connect you there.
Awesome. Keep up the good work.
Awesome. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate the time.
All right, everybody, take care. We'll see you on the next episode. Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.